Today webinars in the PLGBC expert area. We'll start with our experts from two companies, from Terapia Urbana, with Sabrina and Ivan, and with Hadard in Krzysztof and Damian. So I think our area to discuss is very interesting, and I think the time is when we must start. Sabrina, could you start the presentation?
Yes.
I see the people it's joined to us, so could you start?
Yeah. Should I present now, Magda?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
of course. Let me know if you can see my screen.
perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
okay. So if it's okay, I will start. So first, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for your time and your interest in our companies. My name is Sabrina Crobeto, as Magda said. I'm a business developer and technical advisor at Terapia Urbana. From our team, we are also joined by Ivan Gavino, who is the general manager of the company, and we are also joined and invited from our installation partners from Poland, from the company Hadar, two of their project manager, Krzysztof and Damian. So we are here today to talk about green walls and green facade as the element of infrastructure in cities. I would like to start this webinar by explaining you how it will be organized. The talk will be divided in 3 stages. In the first part, we will talk about who we are, what is the phytotextile system for the installation of green walls produced by Terapia Urbana, and how we collaborate with Hadar. The second stage will be led by Krzysztof and Damian on behalf of Hadar, who will present the case of study of a green wall that they have been installed in the recent years with our phytotextile system. And finally, we will dedicate 20 minutes to answer any questions arising from both talks. So talking about who we are. Terapia Urbana was born as a spin-off of the University of Seville in 2010. We are a group of architects, agronomic engineers, and landscape designers that work providing integral greening solutions around the world. We are present in more than 25 countries and already made more than 35,000 square meters of green wall. We work as a multidisciplinary consultancy specialized in the development of nature-based solutions. We develop and commercialize our own system for green wall, which we produce here in Seville and commercialize abroad. And we provide integral assistance in collaboration with our installers for each project. So the next question is how we collaborate with Hadar actually. We channel requests received by Hadar through architectural studios, construction companies, or private clients, and we are present throughout the development of the entire project. From the preliminary phase, where we provide technical documentation, economical studies, and justification of the system, and its implementation to Hadar and its client. Then, in the design phase, we collaborate with the development of solutions and installation drawings. And in the installation phase, we provide both the supply of the system, the technical assistance, and the necessary help that our installers might need. It is thanks to Hadar wide experience in installation of large green walls that today we have high performance installations in Poland. And so, as our system has a main actor living being, the plants, we are linked to the maintaining phase from the advice and management of the control project. This is where the large experience of our partner allow the living walls that have been installed over the year to last over time and to do not lose their qualities. Our work goes beyond the supply of the system. Our company is in charge of the technical specification of the structure, the drainage, the studies of sunlight or auxiliary lighting, the selection of the species, the landscape design, and the irrigation control system. After the installation, Terapia Urbana continues to be present as a consultant to ensure that the green wall remains in good conditions. This is a small example of a technical development that we were talking about before. Here, for example, you can see on the left side what corresponds to the modulation plan, and on the right side, you can see the structure plan and how is the result of the green wall once it's installed. This is a really small part of the project, but it helps to show which is our technical contribution to the project in which our partners Hadar works. And if we talk about the textile system, our system is based on scientific research, and as a result, we have developed, produced, and patented our own system called Phytotextile, which is an exclusive product of Terapia Urbana. It consists of flexible textile models that are marked in different formats. The system of installation of a plank covering through a ventilated facade construction allowed us to preserve the wall where the green wall will be fixed from possible damage caused by irrigation water and humidity, while improves the heating performance of the building too. Oops, sorry. These flexible models have different layers. For each layer has a particular function. The outer layer improves the roots aeration, while the intermediate layer retains and distributes the water. And finally, the layer that is fixed to the profile is responsible for preventing the passage of water into the structure. This balance between water retention and air passage ensures a stable and stress-free environment for the plant, which is our main goal in installations. Also, the installation has only 4 simple steps. First, the system starts with the substructure that is fixed to an existing wall, where the models are fixed, which have up here and flange where the irrigation pipes are placed. And finally, once the structure is fixed, we proceed to the planting according to the design agreed with the client. Oh, sorry, I have a problem with my mouse. Currently, they are producing models of 49 and 36 pockets, depending on the density that is expected to be achieved from the beginning. We have 2 different lines of model that we produce, and a standard one here you can see, and a customized one that allowed us to adapt our system to any type of shape desired by the architect. This is really important because it gives us a really flexible system to adapt. So this is a system oriented to be high performance, and we have studies that certify fundamental aspects such as the behavior to fire, to freezing, its technical and mechanical resistance to traction, as well as a report that allowed us to evaluate the CO2 impact associated with its production and installation. Summarizing what I was saying, Phytotextile is a high performance system. It's really easy to install, and has a really quick cover. And the most important thing here is this system has a pixel design, allowed us to monitor the green wall once it's installed. I think also it's really important to highlight some qualities of the installation of green walls in cities, such as the fixation, for example, of toxic gases such as PM, VOC, NOx, or CO2, and its contribution of oxygen to the environment, the increase of green areas in cities that are currently saturated with concrete, and the increase of biodiversity and the reduction of heat island in cities and the carbon footprint. This is why we're so convinced that this type of elements such a great benefit to be used as a component of urban infrastructure in cities. And actually, these benefits can be also transferred to people, improving the air quality, influencing the concentration, increasing the well-being, inspiration, and leading to the relaxation of the person. And to end my part of the presentation, I would like to show you some examples of the most relevant projects we have been working on the recent years. These, for example, are the green walls on the M30 in the city of Madrid. This green wall is located in the sector of the M30 road and has 3,280 square meters, and is a great example of the positive impact that gardens can have in the cities. This is a small part of the landscape design, like a really, really small part, And you can see here the outcome at the final installation drawings, sorry. These other one are the green walls in the Mercury Hotel in Katowice. This installation has 235 square meters, a clear example of how, thanks to the experience of other in extreme climate situation and thanks to the contribution of Therapy Urbana's technical advisor, we can have green walls in perfect condition, even in the coldest month. Here, for example, you can see two pictures. We have one in summer where the green wall, it's really greeny and really nice. And here you can see a picture of the green wall in winter where the leaves only change this color, but the green wall never died. Here is another example. This is a green wall located in London. It's called Arden, and it was requested by an architectural firm that wanted to renovate the facade of their studio. This green wall reaches an area of 175 square meters, and it's really a really good example of how our green walls can change the look of the building and how can improve biodiversity. And the last example I want to show you is another project in Poland. This is in Poseidon. It has 150 square meters of green wall installed and represents a model of biodiversity integration in cities. Well, this is actually everything from me. Thank you so much for your attention. I will leave you now to our colleagues Christoph and Damien to review some case of studies and then to talk a little bit more about our system and answer any questions you might have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sabrina. So I will now share my screen. Is it okay? Do you see it?
Yeah, perfect. You could start.
So thank you very much once again, Sabrina and Ivan, for your speech. Let me introduce. My name is Krzysztof Pryszkowski. I'm the project manager of Hadar, and this is Damian Włodyka. He's also the project manager. He's crazy great, focused on greenery, on plants. He's not only the specialist, but also the enthusiast of greenery. And in the second part of this webinar, we would like to present you the case study and to improve that green walls as the element of green infrastructure in cities can work also not only in hot climates like Spain, like Seville, that is the hottest part of Spain, but in Polish climate with hard winters as well. So we would like to present you the case study of outdoor green wall in Krakow. And at the very beginning, I would like to point out that the green wall is, when it is designed at the very initial stage, at very initial part of the investment, it's not the cost for the investor, but it's the benefit. Yes, it's you can now see the list of benefits of green walls. But when you are designing green wall at the very beginning, the investor spends less money. It's not necessary to install concrete slabs or curtain slabs or glass. You can prepare the facade for green wall and have all the benefits listed here. But also some cities like Katowice, Gdańsk or Kalisz are now releasing such investments from city taxes. And also greenery on facades now matches the European Union taxonomy very well. It's easy to finance such investment. So there are a lot of advantages of installing such green wall. But in this case, in Krakow case, it was more difficult, because it was rather than retrofit. The facade was prepared, it was isolated, it was covered with plaster. So our work was a little bit more difficult, but it wasn't something undone. So let's move for this green wall. We are starting each project with analyzing, because this part of preparation is very important, especially when we are thinking about good performance of green wall, not only in summer but in winter as well, taking into consideration Polish climate and hard conditions, because we would like to show and to improve that such green walls also in Polish climate could work and could be very effective the whole year.
Yeah, and they can look good also in the winter. So it doesn't mean that there is no vegetation for 6 months. Actually, if they are maintained properly, it's something nice to look at all year round.
Yes, this is why the design part is so important, to look effective in each season. So we are starting to analyze this from the sunlight study and climate conditions, hardiness zones. We are checking the wind, the temperature, the sun, everything that helps us with selection to select the appropriate plants that could work the whole year. So after receiving the placement of the building, the building site plan, we are starting with our friends from Terapia Urbana to analyze the sunlight conditions, the movement of the sun, but also we have to check the nearby buildings that could make some shade on the green wall. So having this, we can check how the sun goes on the green wall at each particular day of the year. It helps us also to select the plants and to predict how they will perform during the whole year. And here you can see the short video. Those are the short animations presenting the 31st of January. And I will go back to this slide in the end of our presentation to show you how different conditions could be on one not very big green wall during one day, especially the temperature conditions. Yes, this green wall is approximately 170 square meters, and it was on the prepared facade with a lot of windows. So having the surface and windows, which made this realization more difficult, we are starting jointly working on the technical projects. So auxiliary construction, the fixing points of this construction, especially through the thermal isolation, it has to be arranged also with the general contractor.
And quite, if you can go back, and also quite a complicated irrigation system, because we have many windows and we had to secure every window
from water. So a lot of gutters, a lot of outflows.
But it's possible, it can be done. So windows, it turns out, are not that problem.
Yes, so with having the construction, we can work on modulation. So to choose the appropriate panels of phytotextile, some of standard one that Sabrina presented, some of bespoke panels, modules that are also possible to do. And this is what Damian said, the irrigation, that is also very important, especially when we are taking the climate, the sunlight study. We have to work on this on each project separately to choose the appropriate water. We are checking the water consumption of plants, the sun conditions, the temperatures, and the water outflows drainage system as well, especially in this case with a lot of windows to make people that live there to live here comfortably without any leakages or water drops on the windows. And at this point, I would like to stress out also that such projects, especially in Poland, with some more complicated buildings with windows on existing facade, is the point where some construction industries, construction branches are contacting each other. So we have here the general construction, we have the water, the plumbing, so all the hydraulics, electricity installation, because we were fixing the brick through the thermal installation, and our branch, so greenery. So all these branches are meeting at this one point. So it's very important to predict all problems, to coordinate this, to make the installation easier. So it's not only the greenery part, but it's a lot of technical aspects that have to be consulted with all the branches that are meeting on the building site.
Yeah, and what I can say, I wish architects could take into consideration fitting green walls in very early stage, because then it makes it so much easier, the whole installation process and the works on site. It's so much easier when we are not refitting, because in the end the investor is kind of losing money because he's spending kind of twice. First the regular facade, and then at some point someone comes up with the idea of green wall, and we have to fit the green wall into an existing facade, when it's pointless, because if it would be considered much earlier, then investor doesn't have to spend that money on that class or something like that, and you can work from the beginning rather than very late on.
Yes, and the installation is much easier in such case, but the Krakow case is this more difficult one due to the fact that the facade was the existing one, even though the building was the fresh building, but the investor thought about installing green wall at not at early stage, but after finishing the facade. And having all the technical aspects done, we are starting working on the concept with Terapia Urbana, that are the specialists of the plants. With Damian is also the specialist of the plants, so having in mind the hardiness zones, the sunlight study, the conditions that are on this one, we are working on the concept and also the plants that could suit the green wall.
Yeah, so we keep the most important thing in gardening, I think. So the round plant goes into right place, and then we are safe. Yeah. We know that they will be growing fine.
For sure, we are consulting the concept with the investors. We can have some organic shape, geometric shape, but inspiration from fine arts as well. We can do almost everything. We are only limited with the plant selection because we want to keep the good condition and good performance of green wall the whole year. And after that, we are making the landscape design with this plant selection, and having the landscape design, we can work separately on plants that are placed on each place on green wall. So on the left hand side you have the landscape design, on the right hand side you have the plant design.
Yeah, so on the right hand side we can see the very detailed planting plan. So basically every module and every plant has its own place in this design. So then when we plant everything in the right place, at the end we achieve the required design or a logo or something like that. With that pixel system, we can, like Chris said before, we can really be flexible and do quite different things. Yeah.
And having this plan design worked out, we can start the standard construction works. And on the left hand side, you have the facade that was prepared for the green wall. So it was almost no cost for the investor, because he didn't have to install the facade before. So he lowered the cost from concrete slabs or curtain slabs or glass or other expensive elements. The facade was prepared with brackets for the auxiliary construction, and having such auxiliary construction, we were ready to install the modules. But the Krakow example was more difficult. It's on the right-hand side. You can see that the facade was covered with plaster. So, and with standard thermal installation below it. So we had to set out the fixing points to the brick, naturally with the general constructor. And after that, we were able to install the auxiliary construction, and such process was longer, and it was more expensive for the investor. But he was determined to install the green wall, so nothing is impossible when investor wants it, and nothing is impossible for us. And having the auxiliary construction done, we can install the modules, and they are very easy to install because having in mind the plan, the whole design, we know where each module is going to be fixed to the construction. After that, we are setting the irrigation line, and when the wall is ready for planting, we are starting the planting.
Yeah. So yeah, first, I mean, once the irrigation is working, this is like the last stage of just the construction design. When we know that everything works fine, irrigation-wise, then we start planting.
Yes. And we have to keep in mind that after planting, we have to wait for the final effect for 2 or 3 months when the plants get stronger, more dense. And on left-hand side, you have the effect 2 weeks after planting. It was mid of October or late October, beginning of November. And on the right-hand side, you have the effect in May next year. So 6-7 months after installation, after quite hard winter. So the points of achieving a big success is very good design, very good project, very good selection of plants, but also the maintenance and observing the walls, because the conditions in Poland could be, we could have summers almost as warm as in Spain, and winters very cold. This year in January, on particular this wall, we have the -22. It was the lowest air temperature noted in the mid of January. And inside the pockets, the lowest temperature was -17. So it's very important to select appropriate plants and to have everything in mind as to keep the good performance. And those are the effects next year. So on those photos, the green wall has 1.5 years after installation. And this is the maintenance. So because achieving good performance.
No.
Excuse me. Oh, so maybe achieving a good effect.
Nie ma spędu, okej?
Jak chcesz mieć tą opaskę na nodze czy na ręce?
Nie ręce.
We hear some noise.
Dziękuję. Teraz
Za mała jest.
zrób na szyję diplodokowi.
Okay, now it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
So having the final effect is one thing, and to keep it is the other thing. It's very important to monitor the green wall, the plant condition, the soil condition, the humidity, also to check the weather all the time, to keep the good condition of plants, the good condition of green wall. That's why Terapia Urbana is still cooperating with University of Seville. We are cooperating with the University of Lublin here in Poland. We are still checking the appropriate plants, their performance, how do they perform in different conditions.
I could add here that we do our own testing of plants. So we choose different type of plants and we plant them on our green wall in our company, and then we monitor them, how they behave. Will they be good to install on the walls for the investors or not? So we kind of still expanding the area, and
Yes,
the
because-
selection of plants actually gets bigger.
Yes, because what book says that performance of this species or those species is one thing, and our test results shows sometimes something different. So it's really important to test and to have in mind the real plant performance. And this is what I said at the beginning. It is the situation from the 30th of January on this green wall. And on the left-hand side, you have the sunlight study. And at this particular day, the weather was brilliant because we have the clear sky with a full sun. So you can see how important was the sunlight study, the cardinal zones conditions, because this is not a big wall, and you can see that we have the plus 25 degrees Celsius on the top of green wall and almost -7 on the bottom. So more than 30 degrees Celsius of difference of amplitude on one wall. So this is why we are doing all the studies, all the checking, all the design before, because the good preparation is the one of the keys of success, and to keep the good condition of the green wall. And also
this
the
is
maintenance.
Maintenance part. So walls on that scale we maintain a few times a year. So it's good or even important to consider the servicing the walls later on, like the access, because on that picture on the right-hand side, we're talking about the green wall in a patio, so it's inside the building, and there's no way for heavy equipment to get in there, and the only solution is to use climbers. So investor prepared the special places for them to put the ropes in and things like that, so they can actually access the top part of the wall. And on the left-hand side, we can see this is the outside of the building. So we use the lift, and there is a place around the building for that big equipment to arrive and to operate. So it's important to have that space, so the maintenance can be done, and it's basically easy accessible every part of the wall, just in case of anything, or just if you want to have a look what's going on up there, then it's good to consider that we have to access that wall in every part. Of course, on a smaller scale, it's not such a problem, only inside the buildings or offices, then we just use the ladder. That's enough.
Yeah, and such a wall sometimes makes a good conditions for animals to live in. We had small problems with servicing because we had a lot of bird nests in one of the our living walls. So we had to wait after the small birdies will go out from the nest, and after that we were able to perform the servicing. And when we are talking about the maintenance and service, the good design, good preparation makes that even in Poland or even in Spain, also plants have very harsh conditions to live. We have the replacement level at 5% each year, and we are going to achieve the lowest possible replacement level, more or less than 2 or 3%, because sometimes the plants are damaged. In Krakow, the green wall is going to the very bottom, and there are parking places near it. So sometimes the plants are damaged mechanically, not by the conditions, but by the people or dogs or other animals. But we have achieved, basing on our cooperation with the universities, with Terapia Urbana, that are specialists. So we have achieved this replacement level 5%. So I think it's quite good in Polish climate. So it's not true that the green walls are dying after winter in Poland. The only thing is to keep the good maintenance and to have the really good project. And that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. And
Waiting for questions.
We are open to questions.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we have a question, two questions, but the first of all, we have a question from someone about the main trends that you already answered about it, but the second part is about the cost. For example, renovation cost of construction. And the second question is about cost of 1 square meter of phytotaxi wall in Polish reality in the big construction and the construction less than 25 meters high.
I don't know if it is possible to answer it because each project is separated. There are so many factors that can change the final cost, the type of construction, fixing points,
if it's repeating or it's the design is kind of considered from the beginning of the project.
Also the usage of specific control system. There are so many factors that can make role in on the price that it's almost impossible to answer. We are touching each project individually. But what I said at the beginning, when the investor is willing to have green wall at the beginning, we can work on this from the beginning stage of the project. It's almost no cost, yes, because the investor spends less money for other types of facade, and so we should not focus on the price of square meter of green wall, but we should focus on the price on the whole elevation, on the whole facade, when we are saving some costs for materials that were could be used for finishing, like curtain, concrete slabs, glass, and we should have this in mind. Yes, also for the cost can make some role this release from the city tax that more and more cities in Poland are getting, and now the European Union taxonomy helps financing such sustainable investments. So the final cost is much more less than the initial cost. Looking through the prism of the whole investment. So,
if the person asking that question wants something specific, if we receive more details, maybe about that, then maybe we can come back and have some more details. For the costs. But
I think it's a good way to answer the question, but it's like in the certificate building area. It's very hard to explain what is the the cost of the building, the cost of the project. I know it's a very specific, but Mr. Paweł, please connect with the hazard expert for the more detail, and I think you show your, for example, project. It will be very simply to answer the question approximately for the system. Okay, we have the second one from a question from Ariel about the elevation and prepare elevation in the construction site to get the green wall.
And so what we need that aluminum construction.
Yeah, we first of all we have to calculate the limits of the building. Yes, if it could hold the weight of 25 to 50 kilograms, because the fully saturated system with well-grown plants and covered, for example, with snow, full of water, it could weigh up to 50 kilograms per square meter. So this is the first thing, if the facade of the building would hold it. And the second is the plan to design the auxiliary construction to have the loads make on the whole building even. And we can make after some consultancies with the general constructor, we have to calculate the loads and choose the material. If it will be the steel or aluminum, we are installing it on the wall, and then we are fixing the phytotextile plants. So the auxiliary construction is maybe not the hard, but it's this element crucial that is carrying the whole weight on it.
Okay. Sabrina, Ivan, do you want to answer this question about the prepare the elevation, or you think it's all of the answer? I put the English version of this question because I know the Polish language is some kind of superpower skills.
Yeah, I will let me read the question first, and Ivan, I think you wanted to say something. Tu micrófono no está abierto, Iván. No, no te escucho, no se escucha. Tenés cerrado el micrófono, Iván. Sorry, he's having
sorry.
Yeah.
Regarding this topic of the far existence of the living world, I think it's asking. Regarding the far existence of the system, we can apply a special type of model in which we can get D2 D0 certification of the system, so we can prove that the system will fit with some special fire requirements for the project. In case of the fire barrier, it's something that we can also include in the project. So, for example, in projects in which we have to establish some barriers each 3-4 meters in the air chamber behind the system, it's something that we can consider in the previous stages, like Christoph and Damien have considered in their presentation. If it will be easier if we can provide this design from the beginning in order to reassure to the specifier to the client about the fire conditions of the system. So it's something that we can achieve. It's something that we are doing in Poland with Hadar, or in other markets in which the fire regulations are really strict, like in the most of the countries in Europe, and it's happening now.
Okay, and thank you, Ivan. And I think we got the last question from Angelica about the system function. It will be do we must have some kind of infert in or on integrate about, or it will be doing without it?
I saw the question. Yeah, well, the main things that a green wall needs, of course, is water supply and electrical point to connect the controller to control the system of irrigation. But human being involved in the green wall, once it's installed, it's only needed for maintenance. Like this maintenance could be more regular in the first month, like you could go there for the first 3 months to see once per month, and then it's over. I don't know, Christoph and Damien, how many times do you go? But a few times per year to each part.
About four times in that particular wall we saw before. It's about 4 times, but of course it depends. Plants are living, so we cannot really predict, but more or less.
Sometimes it depends on the investor's wish. On one realization, the investor wanted only twice a year, so because some of plants are growing more than other.
Yeah.
So the most activities during such service is cutting of those elements. Some of the investors would like to have the full natural coverage without any
Integration.
So it depends on the investor's wish.
Yeah, well, the thing is that here is where the control system for the irrigation is so important, because, for example, in really cold month like winter, we manage the irrigation cycles remotely. This is why it's so important. So you don't have to go there to start to open or close a valve to irrigate. You can do it from home. This is why it's so important. The control system specifications that we provide, and Hadar, of course, has the experience to install and to check every month, every day, if it's necessary, of course. So human integration, it's not necessary. Just to maintain the green wall, like Christoph and Damien say, 4 times per year, depending on the project, of course, but it's not necessary. It works on its own every time that it has water and an electrical point, of course.
Okay, okay, thank you, Angelika and Sabrina, for answer. Okay, this is our last question. Maybe the good direction is if our participants have more question or maybe a case study to discuss, could connect with our experts, Damian Władyka and Krzysztof Kryszkowski from Hadar, and Sabrina Crovetto and Ivan Gavina Escobar from Terapia Urbana. And I think it will be a good for this. Thank you, Sabrina, for put the contact to Terapia Urbana on chat. And in my side, thank you for your great presentation and very inspired case study. And thank you for the attention in this webinar. And
thank you, Magda. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.